try to see how far I can get with it. Yep, I'm probably gonna be referencing my some like a snippets file a lot, so you might actually see the finished product more or less. So I'll show you how it is. Ooh. Okay. I don't have that good of a memory. Oh, improving your views today. Nice. Cool. So this is what the kind of finished product what's going to look like. It's still it's still pretty simple. But I'm going to go into just a little bit more on Vue X. So again, this finished product, blah blah, cool. Well, sorry, this is actually it's not connected to the server right now. The server's not running, but it's going to look like that. All right. So let's get into the code. So if you looked in the repo, I just used the Vue CLI. So basically there we go. Downloaded and installed the Vue CLI and did a init webpack, which just gives just scaffolds out the webpack config and all that nasty stuff that you don't want to really deal with. So it does that, and let's show you what it looks like right now. That is all that this is. Oops. So cool. And if you are following along, that's what it should look like. Awesome. And it sets up hot reloading and all that good stuff. So yes. Setting that up isn't that crazy hard, but it can be annoying, especially yeah. So it's just good that someone else has set it up. So let's go ahead and just get rid of while we're doing this. Just get rid of basically everything. Goodbye. All right, so we're gonna start from the app. So this is the main entry point for, well, the main Vue instance actually. So let me talk about the Vue instance real quick. So the difference between what I'm doing and what Sunny's doing is that Vue comes also prepared to handle like larger applications where you can actually organize your Vue components into Vue files, .vue files, which look like this right here. So you have a template script, which you end up putting your Vue instance, which is this right here, with the name, components, and I'll show you more on that. And then your style. You can add a scoped attribute to this if you want, and the style will only be it would be scoped to this component and its children component, which is pretty cool. But so the actual entry point to the app is this right here, which registers the Vue instance to the div with the ID app, which you'll see in index.html. So cool, that's right there. So it's pretty straightforward. And then let's see what else we got. So let's start with the app. All right, so if you saw the Meetup thing, there's a server that Eric wrote. I modified a bit, and it basically is just a let's go to it. Nope. Right here. So it just what's it called? It looks like. Sorry, one second. The output. Whoa. Brightness. Nice. So you register a room using Socket.io, and you by using a put call to shit. It's a hell of a lot easier when I was talking to myself. You're doing fine. Cool.
So it saves state in a config, and you know who's registered, and
yeah. So let's go to the server. Just a brief overview of the server. So it's just an Express server that uses Socket.io to create some WebSockets that you can use a Socket client to connect to, and you can subscribe to a socket, and then you can get, say, like messages, for example, and whatnot. So right now what we have is these are all the events that can happen, connections and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to go too much into the detail to the server, but it's here. So I'll show you how to set it up. All right, go clients. All right. So let's just output. Let's connect to the server. The first thing we do. Actually, let's run the server first. Cool. So this PowerShell script, I just changed the directory to the server directory, and I'm just do npm start. So the server is active, and if you go to here, you can do, so I put it on localhost 8084 just because I was using 8082, but not found, but let's do a put. So basically you just do a put and it's created. Now you do a get and the same room, the room is just called sample. Now it's created. So now we can start filling up the users and messages. I'm just gonna use the messages for now because it's for sake of time, but let's get started. So this is the export default. We're making a view instance, and there's a couple things on the lifecycle view, that lifecycle hooks that you can do, and one of them is the first one actually is before create. So that's gonna be a function that you just do when, I'm sorry, yeah, it's going to be a function that happens when you like right before the thing's created. Guess that makes sense. So let's get some snippets because yeah. Oops, wrong file. Cool. So I'll go over this right here, but let's just copy that for now. So I'm setting up the URL right here. It's going to be 8084. And then we're going to use fetch, the JavaScript fetch API, and do that initial put, which will create the room. Then this is where we actually set up the socket. So I kind of did this in advance, but this.socket, I'm going to add a data property. So first off, data is a view specific thing where, I mean, it keeps the data for this component, but considering this is the main component, you don't really want necessarily that much in there, but I'll refactor it after I go into here. So let's see, socket, just give it an empty object. Cool. And so now I can reference this.socket and be safe. So then we use the fetch API to actually get the URL. So basically what we did in Postman, and return the results to JSON. Then for each message, right now it's empty, we will push the messages to another data property, which I didn't make, to right here. So cool. Yep. So if there's any messages, it'll be pushed to that message queue. Then this is another Socket.io specific thing, but you subscribe to new messages, which is this corresponding to the event type that I showed you in the server. So on new, and then we just do the same thing, push to the message queue. All right, now let's actually show these messages, even though there's not going to be any. But let's see, unordered list. Awesome. The same thing that Sunny did, which with the v4. So it's kind of similar to the Angular thing. I don't know if anyone's used Angular, they've noted the ng if ng4, I think it is. But we'll just do message and messages. Then each message, I brought it up in the other example. This example data, a message is going to look like this right here. It's going to have it's going to be a list of from, when, and message. So let's just do dot message. Cool. Oh yeah, good point. Good type of MSG. Cool. Get rid of that. And I think this is still running. Cool.
I think you're on 2 now, right?
Say again?
I got an 84.
Well, 84 is the server.
This 84 is the server. 8081 is actually that. Let's get rid of this guy. There's probably errors out the wazoo right now.
Well, socket is nothing right now.
Socket should be nothing, but once before create. So cool. Awesome. Let's try adding a input field and doing the same thing with the key binding. Key
up.
is it key up? Yeah. Cool.
Key up.
Key up dot enter. It comes with some default ones which you can actually add to. I haven't done that yet, but you can, which is kind of cool. So this is, just to reiterate, this is the same as v-on is right here. So I like at because it's easier. And let's do a send message function. Cool. This is really, there we go. Cool. And let's see, let's make that send message function. So before create function is going to, or the lifecycle hook is going to be there. It's going to do its thing. And so let's just add methods right here, which is also view specific. Cool. And send message. Awesome. Make this a function. And let's just do text equals, since we were just giving it, we're not passing in arguments, let's just, it's going to take the event by default. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And I already did this in advance, but this will get the value of it. Cool. And then socket.on, or no, I'm sorry, socket.emit. This will emit an event in socket.io, which actually I need to import, but I'll do that in a second. Send, I believe it is, and text. Cool. Let's do this dot socket. Believe that's it. Let's verify. Well, it doesn't like that, so maybe not. Oh shit! Actually, we're doing it real live, aren't we? I need to actually install it, so let's do that. All right. So what is that? Socket.io. I think it's client. Yeah, just socket.io. -- save, because we want to save that for other people installing it. Shit. Cool. Let's run this back up. Oh, that's this server, isn't it? Shit. Damn. All right, let's do this again. Well, the server is gonna have Socket.io, which it probably already does. That's why it took really quick. Cool. All right, let's npm run dev again. All right. Awesome. All right, let's see if we can actually get something going. So it should be already set up, maybe. There is something that it's for the when you're doing components with Vue, rather than just doing an instance like Sunny did, you actually have to make the data a function, which is kind of different, because what it does is that it's something with basically being reactive. So you, instead of accessing the data, it's calling a function to return an object with the data. So it can do Vue can do some things behind the scenes to update these, and it just makes it more reactive. Yeah. Oh.
I think since you restarted the server, you need to re-put the room.
Well, it should be putting actually right here. Yeah, I think so. Well, let's see what the errors say. IO is not defined. Oh, because I think that should do it. Make sure. Cool. Awesome. Woo. All right, awesome. So we got that going. So now we don't, let's go to the full screen for this so we can actually see it. So we don't really, want to do all of our logic in here. So what we do is just add a component, just say a message component. Ooh, that was bad. And we are running real late on time, so I'm gonna copy it and just go over it. Does that sound good?
I'll allow it.
He wrote it, right?
Should I actually copy it? Yeah, I guess I'll copy it. Won't copy the.
Where's TKettle with his speed typing skills?
Yeah, seriously.
Did you actually say that?
You be challenging people to that online joke.
So there's a little bit to this. I wish I had actually a little bit simpler one, which actually, you know what, I will do that. I have a snippets file for a reason. We just won't get that crazy far in it. Where are you? All right. So add the template. This is gonna be our template and a script file. This one I will. Okay, so where'd you come from? All right, and we're gonna give it a name, message. And we're gonna pass in some props to it. So similar to React, this is one of the things that it takes from React. Well, I guess other things too, but yeah. So we're gonna just pass it text, and that's where this will come from. So let's import message from here. Man. Cool. And then we're gonna register it in this component using components. Whoa, wow. That comma right here. So this is where you can register more components if you need. So boom, cool. Let's get rid of this right here, and let's just make a message component. Not messages. Come on, you. And we're gonna use bind. So it will be bind like this. But this is another shorthand. So, oh shit. Message. Probably should name that to message.text, but whatever. So you can just do this right here for shorthand, which is really nice. And let's see what that produces us. Ooh, errors. Errors. What does that say? Module not defined. Source.main. That's a great question. Probably not. Let's just redo this. Oh, well, maybe there wasn't any errors. Hey, cool. So it's actually doing what it should be doing. Whoops. Awesome. So it doesn't look like we're gonna get to Vuex, but let me just add a simple Vuex store, because it's definitely, once you get to a certain point in an application, you need a state management system. And because what will happen is you're gonna end up passing props. If you've ever messed with React or anything, you're gonna end up passing props, and you end up in situations where you're like, what should I pass as a prop? Should I change the state? Like, what should I do? So you wanna have a centralized store. And Vuex has a thing that they actually create themselves, which, well, I'm sorry, Vue has a thing called Vuex, which is their state management thing. So Redux or React has Redux, which is, they're two separate kind of entities, two separate companies that make them. But Vue and Vuex, they're one. So you can kind of see a logistical progression of thought when it comes into Vuex, which is nice. So let's just add a store dot. Well, actually, let's import. You know what? I'm gonna go. It's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna go over the one that I already have, because sake of time, we can talk about it a little bit. So this isn't too much more what I had, except for a couple styling things, you know, with directives. And let's see the store. Okay, so very simple store. You have your state, you have getters, mutations, and actions. The idea is you keep your central state, getters, obviously getters, mutations. Mutations are things that are, it's kind of a method of control where you're only supposed to change your state by saying, or by using a mutation. So you shouldn't, I think you can actually change your state if without it, but the thing is, you're supposed to really only use mutations. It kind of forces you to use mutations. Then actions, you add, so right here I have add message, which just pushes a message to the message queue. But then actions, it can be asynchronous. So you can add like some complex business logic that does something and then call a mutation, which mutation should be simple, like add message should just add message to the queue. Add message action should be, you know, you add your business logic, and then whether or not it passes business logic, you add message to the queue or something using
like
mutation.
A dispatcher? Like,
yeah, so
like almost like a dispatcher deal.
Yeah, so this would actually, so this action right here, to actually use the mutation, I would use commit. So you commit actions, or I'm sorry, you commit mutations, and it would look, shit, you know, actually, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. So I have a stream, which is basically just the list, just a fancy list for the messages, where I pass in, I bind all these text when from. Don't worry about the vScroll lock, but and then let's see here. So I passed in the props. Actually, I passed it in as a messages. So let's go back to app. So messages now, rather than it being a thing that we held that state actually within this component, it is now being held in this .store getters messages. So this is a view thing right here, where because view and viewX work together so well, it can register, oh cool, store, that's gonna be a thing, and it knows what it is, how to handle it, and then we, instead of adding it to the message queue, which we were keeping state earlier, we are committing using mutation just add message. But if we wanted to add the business logic, like I said, in the actions, then we would do dispatch. Because since the idea is that since it's asynchronous, you're just letting it do it at some point. And so this can be very handy in a lot of situations. But this is extremely contrived and simple, so it's not even worth it. You just kind of showing both do the same thing. So yeah. And a couple other things to address. Let's see. So computed, this is a very interesting property of Vue. It makes what's it called? Caching easy on the client side. So right here, if this was an extremely expensive function, like this getter method or whatever was in here is an expensive function, it only updates this when you call messages up here. This actually only updates when one of the things Vue is keeping track of updates itself. So if messages doesn't update, then you're just gonna return this last thing that was, it's gonna be cached. So it's kind of the difference between computed and methods. There's a couple other slight differences, but computed is great for expensive functions if you need it. And if you're keeping data up here, then you can, whenever that data changes, then it'll actually go through and call it. Whereas methods, it always calls this function, does everything in there. What else? Sorry, I'm trying to just hit a bunch of things I want to hit. 1 second. Okay, cool. So last thing I want to hit is just kind of random, is the V scroll lock. So what this does is when you're typing in all the messages, if you type in all the messages without having this, then it will like push your input box down, and then it'll just kind of be ugly, more or less. So V scroll lock does, it just is a custom directive that when you type something in and you press enter, then it moves everything up so that it just seems more seamless. So just I guess the point I want to make was that this is a custom thing that I made, which is right here. So it has a couple of hooks. So inserted is one. Whenever a message is inserted, then it'll, with the V scroll lock custom directive, then it'll do this. And there's a lot of other hooks and whatnot. So that's all I got for this. But
Is it automatically insert the dash if you use uppercase?
oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so because HTML is, I think it's, I don't know.
It's if you do string interpolate. I mean, if it's X, if you do it in X script, then you can use it that way, because of the way that HTML is non-case sensitive. If you do like it automatically senses that there should be a dash between the upper and
Vue converts converts that to the dash. And if you want, we can get this up and running so you can see the final product. But is that cool? Yeah. Sounds good. Awesome. Let's open a. Don't want to cancel something that I don't know what it is. Yeah, no, this is bad. Cool. Goodbye. Oh no, that's right. Run dev. Cool. Hello. So the idea is that you can go to localhost. You can, if we are connected to the right network and whatnot, you could actually go there and connect to it yourself, and you'd be a different user.
You gave the IP, we should be able to.
Yeah,
It's on a private network.
yeah, it's,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
you can't really do it with
Oh,
IP.
yeah.
And I was messing around with it. Great API. RoboHash gives you random robots with a thing. So it's extremely simple. So yeah, let's.
We have secure network. We could show people that actually works.
Yeah, I mean, I think they get the idea.
Two tabs side by
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Watch them. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
there you go, yeah.
Oh, maybe I should stay on Windows 7.
Whoa.
Chromebooks
Here we
work
go.
really well.
Cool. Do. So I mean, that's the sockets functionality, and let's.
Where's the Gablar?
Good bar. God damn it.
Close enough.
So since that's a new guy, the scroll lock. Just another quick thing on the scroll lock. It does this right here, where before it would just move everything down. It scrolls this all the way to the bottom. So I don't know if you ever use HipChat or any other chatting application. It's kind of just standard, but that's what I did with it. So, yep, that's all I got. If you have questions, we can go over the code a little bit more if you want and whatnot. So.
Thank you, Justin, Sonny.